Perfect. Hey, hey, hey!
Hello!
Hey, Summer in the City. Vsauce here. Vsauce 1 and Vsauce 3. Jake, where's Kevin?
Dead. But it's fine. Who needs him?
Kevin is not dead. He's
dead.
totally fine. But you know what? He's in the middle of a big move, which is very exciting.
That is very exciting.
It's very exciting. I'm really happy to be here in London. I live here in London. I've been here for 2 years. But I've been spending some time doing a lot of traveling, but now I'm back. And I'm here with Jake for a little bit of Q&A. Do you guys have some Q's?
Because we have A's.
We've got lots and
so
lots of
many
A's for all of you. But you've got to give us the Q's. It's a give and take.
So should we just get right into it?
Let's get right into it, yeah.
Who has a Q? A Q. You have a Q.
Where do you do your research for your Vsauce things?
Yeah, where do we do the research? We might have similar answers from all over, right? So you begin on the internet, you read a lot of books, you read a lot of papers. I've got subscriptions to a lot of scientific journal collections, and also sometimes just talking to super smart people, talking to experts in the fields and saying, hey, is this a question I can ask? Does this make sense?
Yeah, totally. Like watching documentaries or reading books or scientific studies, just culling information from everywhere is really important. Good question. Who else we got? You, yes. Hold on. Yell into that.
Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and the answer is pretty simple. I would like to fight a horse-sized duck, because its body would be completely powerless. If you made a duck that big, with the way biological systems scale, it would hardly be able to walk. I don't know if it would be able to breathe very well, whereas little tiny duck-sized horses would be fine, and 100 of them would be amazingly cute.
It would be. And just like kicking them and watching them fly away would be adorable.
I would try to ride them.
The little ones?
The little ones. Like a big fat guy on a tricycle.
I feel like you would just squish them. But hey, live your life. Be your best self.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who else we got?
But my answer is a horse-sized duck.
Should we not be? Are we too close?
I don't know.
We're just too good. We're too good.
We're just too hot. Okay, next.
You. Yes, you get so many microphones.
What is the most interesting fact you can tell me about the universe?
The most interesting fact.
Yeah, the most interesting fact.
The most interesting fact I can't tell you. The world's not ready for it yet, but maybe soon. The most interesting fact I can tell you, I don't know, I've always been fascinated by the fact that there are no green mammals. There are green snakes, green lizards, green birds, but there are no green mammals, except sloths that don't move for a long period of time actually grow moss on their bodies. So they can look green, but it's not them that's green, it's the moss that's on them. What about you, Jake?
Crumbs.
Put you on the spot for a cool fact.
A cool fact. We all die alone. Drop the mic and then I lock off stage. No, I'm gonna leave it with that. Might as well, you know? I'm going big here.
Yeah.
What is your shirt, by the way?
Palm trees. A lot of small palm trees. That's literally it.
Would you rather fight one horse-sized palm tree or
A bunch of palm tree-sized horses?
I'd go with the horse-sized palm tree because it's not going to do much.
No, it's just a small palm tree.
If it was windy, maybe it'd be dangerous, but I think I'll be all right. I think I could take a tree.
I think a few people die every year from coconuts falling on their heads. It's like more than 3 people.
I've heard, so I actually researched that, and it turns out that because there was, what was it? It was like more people die from coconuts falling on their heads than from like shark attacks.
Really?
And that's like not true.
It's
There is
not
no
true.
actual scientific study that says that. That's a lie, children.
Right, and who even collects that data? If I did a search of death records, how many say coconut fell on his head?
Like, oh boy, I don't know.
It's probably like head trauma. Anyway.
And there was a coconut nearby. It's kind of like Clue.
You're right. Do they do an investigation, put the
Yeah.
coconut up on the stand?
Why
Where
did you kill
were
him?
you that morning?
Interesting. All right, who else? You look very excited. Oh, we had a question too. I'm just pointing out that you're excited.
Gonna try and make this a good question at least. Hi, John.
Every question's a good question.
Oh, hello. Very nice to meet you.
I had a quick question. I was trying to think while I was in the crowd here to really try to think, what questions haven't you answered, or in your previous videos, what haven't you covered? And I wanted to ask, if our atmosphere ever became like toxic gas or anything, would there be any way that we could, you know, live? We could live underwater, like cultivate underwater, or even start a civilization, almost like Rapture from BioShock, but on a big-ass scale. Like, say, the air in the world was, like, too toxic for us to...
Well, yeah, of course. Of course. If the air was toxic, the oceans wouldn't necessarily be safe for long. But we can build biodomes, completely enclosed ecosystems that contain plants and animals, so that oxygen is produced, the animals turn that back into carbon dioxide, completely closed systems. And we've tried to build a few of these. There's one in Arizona called Biodome 2. And I was like, Biodome 2, what happened to Biodome 1? And they're like, that's the Earth. And I was like, oh, okay. But you can live inside these completely sealed off from the rest of the world. And so if the air was toxic, we have the technology to build things, but not on a massive scale. We could protect maybe 7 or 8 people, not 7 billion.
Yeah.
I had one small question to ask. Now, it's a big one because it is for the future. Because if we can make these domes, think about maybe a couple of thousand years, would we be able to, like, you know, cultivate other planets? I know that's a question that's been asked before, and it's been kind of yeah.
Well, I think that it's definitely within the realm of possibility, and I hope that we do it because, well, I hope that we leave this solar system because within, what, 4.5 billion years, Earth will be swallowed by the sun. And everything that we've been working on and doing here on Earth will be gone unless we can leave this solar system and find a younger sun. So, I think that we will, but if we don't, it's literally as if we never existed.
And you're gonna die alone.
It didn't mean to make this sad. We don't have to give it the super sad ending. But, you know, in a way, this should just spawn us to want to innovate and explore more.
Sure, good questions. Right behind you. Yes. Sir, gentlemen.
Okay, let's say you had a Last of Us sort of zombie apocalypse. What would your game plan be to survive?
Jake?
You know, okay. Generally, I would just... I don't know if I would really want to survive, to be honest. Right? Because everyone oh gosh, we're like...
You'd want to join the zombies right away?
No, I wouldn't want to join the zombies, I would just not want to exist at all. And let me elaborate on that if I may. So it's not just super depressing, but it will be, so it's going to get even sadder. Because everyone you know is dead. They're all gone. Nobody is alive.
No, let's say that it's you and
your
like
family?
your family and like 4 people that you really love that are friends and you want to survive. How do you survive?
Well, I mean, obviously leaving civilization, like I would be dead, I'd live in New York, so immediately, bye. But I had a nice life. But generally just, I think in The Last of Us they do a great thing, right? They like go and find a place. Or in Walking Dead they have the prison for a while, which is awesome.
Right.
Like that's really smart. Protecting yourself, and then you have to cultivate not only a new life, but you have to cultivate produce and animals and all these things and create a new existence. I don't know. But I just don't know if I would really want to be in a world like that.
Yeah. Well, you don't have a choice. It's a hypothetical question. I would go to Antarctica because, one, I've always wanted to be there. It's the only continent I've never been on. That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the bottom of the world, if you think north is up. But also, I would hang out at the South Pole, and the zombies would freeze before they got to me. All right? So I'd be fine, but they would try to be walking around trying to get me, and they would freeze. Am I wrong? You look very inquisitive.
I'm just thinking, if we have zombie humans, would there be zombie polar bears and such like?
Yeah, that's always been a thing that I've found interesting, that in movies with zombies, like the animals don't become zombies, right? Which I think they would.
Oh, wow, of course.
I think the only thing in 28 Days Later, like a bird transmits the
Yeah,
virus.
but the thing is that if at the South Pole Station, there just aren't like a bunch of animals walking around. You're very, very safe from any kind of dangerous life form.
I mean, zombie penguins would be just adorable.
They'd be so
I'd be like,
adorable.
it's so fine, you can kill me, you're just so adorable.
What's black and white and red all over? A penguin that
penguin?
is, yeah, bleeding
Bleeding?
and zombie and gross, yeah.
I think that's a good joke.
It's not a joke, it's actually a fact.
That's true.
Next question.
Yes, you with the hair, which is all of you, but it's fine.
What do you think happens inside, like, a black hole?
What happens inside a black hole? We're never going to know. Information can't escape a black hole. I don't think much happens at all. I don't think that happening can't even happen, in my opinion. There is no such thing as time as we know it or space as we know it. It's almost like asking, what is the universe expanding into? It's a non-entity. Space itself is what is expanding. So what's inside a black hole is like asking, what's the heaviest color? They literally have nothing to inform each other about. That's my thought. Good question.
Yes.
If it's zombie apocalypse, would you rather die first and all your family die, or die to save your family?
Well, obviously the hero's answer is to die to save the family. Yeah.
Yeah. Die to save the family.
Especially if they would know that that's what I was doing.
What would you do?
I'd want to be clear.
I would not care about my family. I would just go for it and get a tank and kill all the zombies. To be honest.
Wow.
At least you're honest. You know?
That's true. I applaud your honesty.
That's very nice. Anyone else? You. Yes, run to her.
People always say that bees are going to die out. If they do die out, how are we going to survive without them? And what are we going to do?
Well, we'll have to start hiring people to pollinate flowers manually, or digitally, should I say. Digitally, like with finger digits. I don't know, what we could build maybe robotic bees? Or we'd have to sort of genetically engineer new bees from the DNA we can find to make them not die out. But as far as I know, the bees disappearing is still kind of mysterious.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly where they're all going and why.
Yeah, we'd have to figure out why they're dying first.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, the most important thing is honey. What do you do without honey? Honey's delicious.
Honey's delicious. I mean, I've been to conservatories where they've got plants that are only pollinated by a type of bug that doesn't exist there, and humans have to go around with, you know, like gloves on and just kind of masturbate the plants for one another. Otherwise, we couldn't have more of them. That's seriously what they do. They take the pollen from one and they're like, hey, you're in luck, you know, other plant. I've got some pollen for you.
Is that their job title, just plant masturbator?
Yeah. So you'd have to do that
business card.
Without the bees. And not just for flowers, but for all kinds of other plants. Kiwis, right? Marnie, kiwis need bees? Kiwi fruit? She's shaking her head yes, so
she knows.
There. It'd be a big deal. We'd have to solve it.
You, yes, we'll go with you first.
Hi.
Hi.
Why are things transparent?
Yeah, great question. So, for my understanding is that things are transparent because the amount of energy it would take for the object, for the light to move the electrons is so great that the light just goes through instead. Instead of being absorbed and turning into heat energy or reflecting, it just goes right on through. The light doesn't have enough energy. But windows like these are transparent to visible light, but not light with different energies, like infrared. I think glass like this tends to not let some ultraviolet through. So it's really difficult to get a sunburn through windows. But you can still get sun damage, so be careful.
All right. Yes.
Hi, what's your opinion on Virgin? I heard on the news that they wanted to take their airline to space, like in the future. Would you go on it? What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, of course. I think it's wonderful.
Yes.
I love that they're building airports for space travel, and they're calling them spaceports. And they literally exist. There's one in New Mexico right now.
Yeah.
So Virgin Galactic, which is the name of this, is going to be insane. What we need to do is get more commercial interest in space And I think we'll start exploring it more.
Yeah, like, you know, a little bit side note, tangent thing. Elon Musk is like amazing, right? Elon Musk is incredible. And SpaceX, I'm super excited because they're going to get us onto like Mars probably and into space faster than our own space agencies are going to. And that's incredible that we can do that now. And there's this interest for space and this love for it, which is kind of coming back, which is really, really exciting. But yeah, I would for sure go on a Virgin Galactic flight.
Right now, it's really expensive. It's like,
yeah, it's like
$250,000 a ticket.
Yeah. So crowdfunded, Kickstarted?
Yeah.
Let's all go.
Oh, you picked red shirt?
Yeah, did you pick red shirt? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll let you do it next time.
Well, we'll do plaid shirt next.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, plaid shirt. I love you too.
Hello. Well then, space thing is awesome, but about your research, it's broad. But how much would you say is papers, like scientific papers? How much would you say is Wikipedia?
I'd probably say it's like, it really depends on the topic. You know, because sometimes the topic is one that is all coming from a few books. Sometimes it's just me talking with like Henry from Minute Physics. But I'd say, you know, you wind up with like 30% internet, a lot of like physics forums. Those are the best. Because people have asked a lot of these questions before. And Wikipedia is like the most up-to-date source. I was just looking up what words don't have rhymes. And there are all kinds of articles that haven't been updated for years. But as soon as someone finds an old obscure word that rhymes with, you know, wolf, they go to Wikipedia because they can edit it. But the other sites are just locked and not being updated. So reading the talk pages on Wikipedia pages is actually fascinating. You get to see this conversation between, you know, people arguing about whether something rhymes with bulb or, yeah, it's pretty cool.
And also, I think Wikipedia gets a bad rep because the citations, like the actual sources, you can read and find out a lot more information. I'll do that all the time. You just click like, oh, 15, click it, and then you go to the bibliography, and then you can go to that site or that paper and find out so much more information. And it kind of just, you fall down this rabbit hole, right? You're like, Alice.
Yeah, it's
like finding all these things.
Fantastic.
So plaid.
If artificial intelligences became self-aware, why would they make themselves known to humans?
You should ask them.
That's a, well, that's a good question. That brings up like the singularity, right, for technology. Whereas I love this idea that if you were to make a machine that is smart enough, it wouldn't need you anymore, and it could just replicate itself. It could make more machines, right? So like it would no longer need the human part. It would be so good that it could just replicate itself and make more stuff, which is a little bit of a tangent too. I like the idea of the singularity, because I do think, let's say we were, we're getting a little weird now. If you were of a higher consciousness, why would you need a body? Why would I need this form to get around? I wouldn't.
Because
like,
it's
how
awesome.
Slow is it? I mean, yes, obviously it's very sexy, but why do you need it? You don't need it anymore because you know everything. You don't need to grab things, and you just have it.
Right, I don't understand why, I mean, we think we're self-aware, at least each of us individually does, but we can't prove that anyone else is. So we don't announce that to others. I'm not constantly telling people, hey, I believe that I have a conscious mind. Hello, how are you? My name's Michael. So yeah. If a machine became self-aware, would it even know that that was special? Or would it just be like, oh yeah, everything's like this. All machines are like this.
And how do you prove?
Yeah, you can't.
Like, how do you like, okay, machine, prove to me that you're self-aware?
Right. You can't. Like, this is the famous, like, the Turing test and the Chinese room, where you've got like a mysterious machine that can have conversations in Chinese because it has a great translation engine, but does it know Chinese? Right? These are huge questions that we can't answer. Yeah. For all I know, I'm the only person who is actually conscious and self-aware, and you are all philosophical zombies. And there's no test to prove that I'm wrong. So, yeah.
Yes.
Do you think you could build an archway around the whole world? Like, you know how an archway works? All the stones exert pressure on each other. Do you think you could do that around the whole world and have it balanced?
You kind of have a thing. Didn't you do kind of a video about that?
Yeah, I did one about if you did have a bridge around the Earth, and then you took all the supports away, would it fall to the Earth? Would it start spinning like a ring system? And Earth's gravity is unequal everywhere. That's going to be your biggest problem. It's not completely uniform. The rock underneath is denser and less dense in different places, so all of those incongruities will build up and the thing will fall apart. There's no material strong enough to withstand that kind of force.
Who else we get? You, yes, hello.
am in love with your Princess Mononoke t-shirt.
Oh, thank you so much.
I want it so badly. But I know that you guys do different channels, but for each of you, which are your favourite topics to cover in videos? Because I know you do like dongs and game loots and stuff like that, and you do other videos.
My favorite are the ones that get to go more into the like language and arts kind of field, because there's not as much of that on YouTube.
Yeah, I really like the ones that talk about psychology more. So I did like an episode called Portals, or another one like about like could you save in real life. Those I really love because you're just exploring this thing that we all have and finding out more information about who we are and what we are and how we function, which I think is very exciting because there's so many mysteries that we don't know. So it's interesting to explore those.
Right. So we have time for I think 2 more questions.
All right.
So
I'll let you pick.
Let's go way back there.
Speaking about language, my question comes in 2 parts, which is, what is your favourite accent? And then, to the best that you can explain, why do accents exist?
I think you did a video on this.
Yeah, I did an episode called English, and it's all about the English language, and I delve into accents a little bit. I mean, accents just naturally arise from the way people speak that you're around. Animals have accents. If you took the same species of bird from one country and introduced it to another, they would have different bird songs because they've just kind of naturally drifted into whatever accent they want to speak with one another. My favorite accent, I like a nice, sweet Irish accent. You know? Yeah.
I mean, I would go with English accent, obviously, right? Yeah, that's right.
British.
Work in the crowd, work in the crowd.
Nice work.
You want to pick the last one, Michael?
Yeah, no, you'll pick the last one.
I pick the last one? Oh, crumbs. Okay. Who's the most enthused? Who has a question? I mean, do you... Okay, I'll go with you. Oh, is that Tom Scott shirt?
I like trains.
Nice.
Hello. As the last question, what is the most beautiful thing you know?
The most beautiful thing you know?
You.
Yeah. I would say curiosity.
I would actually, yes. I don't want to accept, but yes, curiosity, because we're all curious, right? And I think that's the amazing thing that I love about, like, screaming, is that you just want to find out more information always. You hear an interesting question, you're like, okay, yes, now I need to know the answer. We just have that intrinsic need to be more, to know more, which I think is very exciting.
Totally. Yeah. Wonderful.
That's awesome.
So stay curious and keep asking questions. And thank you very much, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank you.
watching.
You're amazing.
Roasted nigga catch y'all, sipping on that shit.